Star Trek is an American science fiction entertainment franchise created by Gene Roddenberry and currently under the ownership of CBS and Paramount. The show tells the tale of the crew of the Starship Enterprise and its 5-year mission to boldly go where no man has gone before. With a great plot, great actors, and overall great production, Star Trek is a show worth watching by anyone who is into science fiction. Star Trek has become a cult phenomena for decades. Fans of the franchise are called Trekkies or Trekkers. The franchise spans a wide range of spin-offs, including games, figurines, novels, toys, and comics. Star Trek had a themed attraction in Las Vegas which opened in 1998 and closed in September 2008. At least 2 museum exhibits of props travel the world. The series has its own full-fledged constructed language, Klingon. Several parodies have been made of Star Trek. Its fans, despite the end of the Star Trek episodes on TV, have produced several fan productions to fill that void. Star Trek is noted for its influence on the world outside of science fiction. It has been cited as an inspiration for several technological inventions, such as the cell phone. Moreover, the show is noted for its progressive civil rights stances. Okay, so let's start off with one of the most iconic aspects of Star Trek, the captains. Captain Kirk, played by William Shatner, first appears in the broadcast pilot episode of Star Trek, the original series, The Man Trap. Originally broadcast on September 8th, 1966, Shatner continued in the role of the show's 3 seasons and later provided the voice of the animated version of Kirk in Star Trek the Animated Series, which ran from 1973 to 74. Shatner returned to the role of Star Trek the Motion Picture in 1979 and in 6 subsequent films. Chris Pine portrays a young version of the character in the 2009 reboot Star Trek film, with Jimmy Bennett playing as Kirk as the child. Other actors have played the character in fan-created media, and the character has been the subject of multiple spoofs and satires. The character has been praised for his leadership traits and also criticised for his relationship with women. Kirk became Starfleet's youngest captain when he received the command of the USS Enterprise for a 5-year mission, 3 years of which are depicted in the original Star Trek series. Kirk's most significant relationships in the television series are with the First Officer Spock and the Chief Medical Officer Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy. McCoy is someone to whom Kirk unburdens himself and is a foil to Spock. Robert Jewett and John Shelton Lawrence's The Myth of the American Superhero describes Kirk as a hard-driving leader who pushes himself and his crew beyond human limits. Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block, in their Star Trek 101 primer, note that while cunning, courageous and confident, Kirk also has a tendency to ignore Starfleet regulations when he feels the end justifies the means. He is the quintessential officer, a man among men and a hero for the ages. Although Kirk throughout the series becomes romantically involved with various women, when confronted with a choice between a woman and the Enterprise, his ship has always won. Roddenberry wrote in a production memo that Kirk is not afraid of being fallible, but rather is afraid of the consequences to his ship and his crew should he make an error in judgment. After the success of the contemporary Star Trek feature films, a new television series featuring a new cast was announced on October 10th, 1986. Patrick Stewart, who has a background of theatre at the Royal Shakespeare Company, was initially considered for the role of Data. He said he would not have been interested in taking a supporting role to sit around. Roddenberry did not want to cast Stewart as Picard, however. He envisioned an actor who was masculine, virile, and had a lot of hair. Roddenberry's first choice was Stephen Mack, and it took weeks of discussion with Robert H. Justman, Rick Berman, and the casting director to convince him that Stewart was the one they had been looking for to sit in the captain's chair. Roddenberry agreed that after auditioning every other candidate for the role, Stewart himself was uncertain why the producers would cast a middle-aged, bald English Shakespearean actor as a captain of the Enterprise. He had his toupee delivered from London to meet with Paramount executives, but Roddenberry ordered Stewart to remove the awful-looking hairpiece. His stentorian voice impressed the executives, who immediately approved the casting. Roddenberry sent Stewart C.S. Forrester's Horatio Hornblower novels, saying that Picard character was based on Hornblower. But Patrick Stewart was already familiar with Hornblower, having read the books as a teenager. As the series progressed, Stewart exercised more control over the character's development. By the time production began on the first Next Generation film, it was impossible to tell where Jean-Luc started and Patrick Stewart ended.